Hi travelers, Tara here. If I look a little peaked, it's because I've kind of been under the weather. I'm still not feeling too well, but you know, it is what it is. So this is going to be our Capricorn new moon reading. We will have a new moon in the sign of Capricorn on the 21st of January. I'm recording this on January 15th. So 6 days from now, we're going to have a new moon. New moons are usually times to start something new. In the sign of Capricorn, we're talking about structures in our lives. We're talking about stability. We're talking about achievement, perseverance. But because Capricorn is ruled by the planet Saturn, it could also represent restrictions and limitations and boundaries. Okay, the moon is really not comfortable there in Capricorn because the moon is a water energy and Capricorn is an earth sign. But it still doesn't mean that if there's something new that you want to start in your life. So this could be something like starting a new exercise regime. It could be trimming your hair so that you'll have growth on the new moon. It can be putting in a new financial plan for yourself for 2023. So anywhere where you want to build up some kind of structure so that you can get some kind of quote unquote predictability or stability. So new moons are a good time to put in new practices or to start something new. So I have with me the Radiant White deck. I have with me both the Fin de Cycle and the La Vida Sibila. I don't know what the message of the cards are going to be about, so once we get the reading done, that's going to determine what oracle card we'll wrap the reading up with. I'm going to have to close the blinds over here in the corner because it's a big glare off the card. So just give me 1 second. Health-wise, I am still experiencing, neurological issues. They haven't gotten, oh my goodness, they haven't gotten worse and they haven't gotten better. Okay, so it's kind of like just at a stasis. They moved my date to go speak with the neurologist from February to March. So it just is what it is. I'm still wearing my help I've fallen and I can't get up button. And so I just have to take it one day at a time. So let me go ahead and turn the camera around. You guys are going to see Peggy Jean in the corner over here. I hope she survives. Someone called me I don't know, about 4 days ago to come rescue this plant. And I ended up having to saw the tree in half to make 2 trees. It was so root bound from the pot that they'd kept it in. It apparently had been in that pot for 10 years. So I had to do a lot of root surgery on it. And I'm hoping that it will survive. But she really is beautiful. So you will see her in the corner. So send some positive, there she is, you'll see, send some positive energy to Peggy Jean there. So let me turn the camera around. I've been doing a bit of cleaning up in my office and putting things away. It don't look like it, but I have. I've done a lot. I still have a lot of books over here, stuff that I've got, and I don't have any shelves. And one of the things that I'm not able to do at the moment, well, I would not advise it, is to operate any power tools, real power tools. So Hannah got me a Dremel for Christmas. That's a smaller power tool. It's not using like my miter saw or my circ saw or my jigsaw or my brad nailer, anything like that. So we'll just see how that goes. I have already done some meditation and shuffling on the new moon. This is a general reading. Oh, before I get started, let me switch over here and type in if you'd like to get a reading. You can reach me. First of all, you can go over to the About box section of my channel, and that will give you the pricing packages, the reading packages, along with the prices and the number of questions. And you can then email me at this address that I'm putting in. I'm doing this sideways, so it's kind of difficult for me. And say, hey, Tara, you know, I'd like to get a 30-minute reading or whatever. And then we'll go from there. So as I was stating, this is a general reading, and so the message will not resonate with everyone. Take what you can, disregard what doesn't work for you, and we'll just see. In order to gain any insight into your own personal situation does require a personal reading, so that's why I suggest you go over to the About box section and check out the pricing packages. So, one more shuffle. I don't know about you, but already we are the end of the month's going to be coming pretty soon, and that's the first month down in the new year. And to me, it seems as though time has sped up. It's almost like being in a time warp or being in a wormhole. It's going by really fast. I was asking some people over on Mastodon the other day, and by the way, I'm doing more posting on Mastodon than I am Twitter. And you can find you can find me on Mastodon. That's in the Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, it's in the bio. You can't click the link because I think that Elon Musk has disabled those links, but you can certainly copy it down and come on over. And I was posting over on Mastodon, I think it was yesterday, asking somebody else if they feel like it was that way. And, a couple of people replied and said, yeah, they felt that way. So, obviously, it's not just me. Here we go. 9 cards down. The 2 of Pentacles. The King of Wands. The 10 of Swords. Wow. The Temperance card. Wow. The King of Pentacles. So now I have 2 kings. The Queen of Cups. And a Queen. My goodness. Last row down. The 8 of Pentacles. The Page of Swords. So I have 4 court cards here. So there are at least 3 people involved in this situation. At least. Finally, the Hierophant. Quite interesting. What is the energy over the entire reading? The 4 of Swords. Well, yes, that would make sense. So, what do I have here? I have 3 Pentacles, a Cup, 2 Swords, 2 Major Arcana. As you see here, I have 4 court cards. Now, the court cards, in my experience, can behave in 3 different ways. The court cards can be 2 different aspects of a person, okay? They can be a person, they can be 2 different people, but they can also be a person and or a situation. And so there's several things going on here. I feel that, first thing I'm going to say is that if there's been any dissent or argument or ugliness that has occurred, you're going to get an opportunity to quote unquote renegotiate this, to I don't know, resolve the issue. That's first and foremost. Okay, right in the center I have the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is an earth sign, typically associated with the sign of Taurus, but he can be a Virgo or Capricorn. He can also be a banker, a loan officer, an accountant, a financial advisor, a business owner, in the sense that he owns a business. It's something that he built up on his own. He has a lot of knowledge and advice and skill that he can put forth towards quote unquote business ventures. To me, he's never someone who is, let's say, a financial backer, in which case he could be, but typically that always shows up for me as the Emperor. Okay, the King of Wands would be a fire sign individual, could be Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. He is usually known as the entrepreneurial king, okay? So this would be the guy maybe who might, again, he doesn't really come across for me in my experience as the financial backer, but he very well could be. This guy would be more of a, what do you call it, a venture capitalist, so to speak, but he could also be as well. Two kings typically represent projects, meetings that are of a positive nature. But even if you are female and you're out there, you got your own business, or you're out there doing something, you too can embody the energies of the kings, because it is a more outwardly directed energy, whereas the queens are a more internal reflected energy. So even if you are male watching this, this Queen of Cups can also be about you, in the sense it can represent you, in the sense that this is talking about your feelings, your emotions, perhaps your intuition, okay, what you care about, what you are focused on, or that's something you are emotionally attached to. For me, this appears to be some type of contractual issue here, with this King of Wands, in a sense, having made a decision, or that a decision has been made involving him that either he feels shanghaied by, you know that old saying, shanghaied, where somebody has surprised you, they've ambushed you in that sense, where he may feel disappointed, he may feel as though someone has stabbed him in the back. I find that to be interesting, because this energy is attached to all three of these individuals, okay, and they are speaking to me as people. But twos, the Two of Pentacles represents a decision. That's what twos represent. Choices, options, decisions, oppositions, you being opposed within yourself about something, or someone actually opposing you. It speaks about a crossroads. It can also speak about the idea of trying to juggle two things at one time. So this could be somebody who has two jobs at one time. They are, you know, maybe robbing Peter to pay Paul, so to speak. But it also says to me that in one sense, this thing has been going back and forth. So there may be some influence of the Mercury retrograde. If I'm not mistaken, Mercury was retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. So this could have been some snafus in a business deal, or some kind of project, some kind of delay, some kind of misunderstanding. But again, it says to me that someone is feeling all at sea. See how the ships are being tossed around back there in the back? In other words, you know, you don't know what to do. You can't make a firm decision because you got two choices to choose from. Across the center, the Temperance. Temperance represents the idea of balance, of balancing. This is a fire card. It represents the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is about big knowledge, and when I say big knowledge, we're talking about in a sense a worldview kind of a thing. It rules post-secondary education, imports, exports, the World Wide Web, publishing, the internet, getting your message across to millions of people, and instead of on a local level, so to speak. It also rules philosophy, religion, tarot, astrology, those kinds of things. A more holistic view. But because it is a fire card, and we see the angel with the foot in the water, pouring the water between the two cups, to me it is an indication that a balance here needs to be struck, a compromise of some sort. So that's why I said at the beginning, if this has been some kind of dispute in some way, you're going to get an opportunity to resolve it. This card is about balancing the water with the fire. As we know, if we put water on fire, the fire can be at such a low level that it boils. It does what we need it to do. But if it's too hot, the water can boil over and put the fire out. So this is really about balancing the two elements, the desire with the emotion. That's how that's coming across to me. I've also seen this card show up when people ask, am I on the right path? The answer is yes, you are on the right path. And to continue in that particular vein, but it is going to require a delicate balance. Now, I just explained to you about the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. So that brings me to the final row. We are past, present, future, interplay of the cards. And what I have here is the Eight of Pentacles. Eights are karmic numbers. They are usually typically numbers to do with money or finances. But eights are also come to say that whatever stagnant energy has been around, things are now about to start to move. You go from the 7, which is typically an opportunity or a time when one is questioning oneself, one is trying to take a moment or should take a moment to pause and reflect over all that's come before for taking a step out. The 8 says now that you are ready to do so. The card can also show, talk about apprenticeships. Maybe you have started something new, but you've got to start at the bottom of the rung. It talks about doing something over and over again until you perfect it. So this card is typically associated with craftsmen, artisans, but it could really be anything in which that type of focused energy is required to get something done. As you can see, the individual is literally making money. He's selling his wares. But 8s can also sometimes be an indication of obstacles, hassles, and delays. Okay? We come to the Page of Swords. And for me, pages always represent news or messages. Okay? The Page of Swords is a student of communication. He's not afraid to ask questions or say things to get to the truth of whatever the situation is. But it's definitely a communication thing. Now, sometimes the Page of Swords can be somebody who is quite nasty, can be rude, can be arrogant, can be someone who enjoys hurting others' feelings, can even be someone who can be spying upon you, delving into things that aren't their business, even though that's another card that has that particular meaning. If I add these two pentacles together, okay, it gives me 10 pentacles, which is a changing energy, which gives me the ace that the king is holding here. Okay, this idea that even I've got 3 cups here. So as I said, there are at least 4 people, and I'm going to say 3 because this to me always represents news and messages. All right, the 10 most definitely says it's a 10 energy, and 10s are always changing energy. So this says that whatever the problem or the situation, the crisis point has been reached, and now you're going to be able to move through this. This is more of a mental energy, right? So here's the ace that this Page of Swords is holding, in my opinion. And then we come to the Hierophant. Now, what I find to be interesting about the Hierophant is this idea that there is one person at the top and 2 people at the bottom. I don't know if this person at the top is this King of Pentacles or this King of Wands. Okay, one person giving information or supplying knowledge and education to 2 other people below them. The card represents the idea of higher knowledge, but it also represents hierarchical structures. Any place where there's a hierarchy, so this could refer to like hospitals and universities, things of that nature. It also talks about speaking about negotiations and contractual issues. It is a Taurus card ruled by Venus. Venus comes in to help make the thing more attractive so that you can gain the cooperation. Taurus is about structures and stability, finances, values, value systems. It is also rules right relationships. So there's a personal financial element to this. Now, starting with the 4, the entire energy of the 4 of Swords says to me that before it was a 4, it was a 3. And so this was the idea that you may have been involved in some kind of complicated situation before, and it has required a timeout. As you can see, the 3 swords are at rest. The 3 swords can also speak about unsettling communications. It can talk about bitterness and frustration, having your feelings hurt. But the card implies that taking the time out to rest and recuperate so that you can get your thoughts together has been or should be occurring. there's something else this card is trying to tell me. I'm not exactly sure what that is. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot else except for these three people here. Now, sometimes this card can represent marriages. So I don't know if this is the an actual personal relationship. Maybe someone's having an affair. Maybe someone's been thinking about having an affair. But these two cards together to me say that, no, because it talks about creative projects and ideas, business ventures. Okay, so to me, this is really some type of business partnership kind of a thing. All right, that's how it feels. Again, I don't read cards, I read energies. So in order to gain a bit more information, perhaps, let's turn these cards over, because as I say, traditionally they represent people. That doesn't give me a lot to work with. What it gives me is the Two of Pentacles, the Ten of Swords, and the Eight of Pentacles as they relate to the Temperance and the Hierophant. Okay, so let's see if we can gain a bit more information here. I'm kind of mentally struggling, so give me a minute. Here we go. And see if there's any additional information here that we can gain. We're going to start with the Two of Pentacles. Now, the timing of the Two of Pentacles is interesting because it represents the 21st through the 31st of December, a 10-day time frame. Okay? So that might be the only thing that appears to me to apply would be the interpretation of the 2 and the 5. It implies scattered energies leading to undue stress and confusion. So slow down, relax, and think carefully about each step you take at this time. Allow things to flow as they will and have faith. That's somewhat the energy here of the Temperance. I do feel that there has been some kind of complicated situation that has come up, perhaps during that time frame, the last week, couple of weeks in December. Okay, the Ten of Swords tells me nothing, but there is a warning to take the utmost caution when undertaking any new venture at this time, particularly if you are dealing with people you do not know well or at all. This leads to feelings of distrust and suspicion, and the feelings may be warranted. So look closely at all avenues and from all angles, and only proceed if you feel it is the right thing to do for you. The Ten of Swords tells of the conclusion of something that has caused a great deal of pain and anguish in the near past, whether it be in a relationship or business situation. However, it implies that the crisis point has been reached. Things will now be resolved and will improve all around. Well, that's definitely a possibility. Eight of Pentacles. Let's see. I only have 2 other Pentacles. Well, nothing about the Eight of Pentacles. So, I'm going to look at the Four of Swords. I'm kind of at a loss in terms of what the cards are trying to convey here, except that, well, Four of Swords with 3 or more court cards indicates that there are some misunderstandings and difficulties within current relationships. It is a message not to proceed with any new ventures or relationships. Unless you feel absolutely secure, it is most important to check the fine details before proceeding, as there is a possibility of difficulties arising. Now, that's twice you've gotten the same message. Okay, so I think that this is a warning. It is a warning, not saying to you that you should not move forward with it. It says that you should wait and check the fine details. Sometimes the card of trusting your intuition, higher knowledge, okay? It could simply be saying that perhaps you need to go speak to someone who has that some expertise, who knows what they are doing. The Pentacles are not just about finances, they are about the doing of something. It's that third dimensional energy. I don't see anything else here really that gives me the real indication, and I don't necessarily know which one of these individuals. I think that, to be honest with you, to me this is the stronger row down the center. There's communication between these two kings, but what is it about? And here, this poor queen trying to make the decision, perhaps, and feeling like she's just working and working and not doing any and not getting anywhere with it, because sometimes that card can be that. Okay. So if I were to pull cards, my question would be, what is the communication between these two? So I'm going to pull the Sibilas to see if the Sibilas can assist me in some way, shape, or form. I still stand by the idea that you will be able to resolve this issue, but there's a clear warning not to proceed unless you absolutely feel certain that it is the right thing to do, and you checked and double checked. Because like I said, this can be a contractual issue. This queen may not be a person at all. She could simply be the energy of trusting whatever your intuition is telling you. Okay? Definitely a letter. This is usually within a week's time, as this card also represents. A week to usually 10 days. Some kind of information coming in. Now, the letter can be just that. It can be coming through the post. It could be a letter. It could be something you have to sign for. It could be an email, a text message, a phone call, a fax. It could be something that you heard on television or the radio, or someone. Sometimes this card can be about gossiping, that someone told you. Okay. It could be you go down to the newsstand to get a newspaper and you hear something from the guy who sold you the newspaper. So that holds true. The next card, the dispiacere. Well, the card of tears and anxiety. So the card says, what it talks about is receiving some kind of news, but it is news that cuts to the quick. Typically not good news. Something that's quite painful, and we know that from the open letter on the table and the woman's reaction to it. Still doesn't give me any indication as to what the news is about. Definitely within a week's time here. Something out this card where you feel as though maybe the rug's been pulled out from under you. With the desperate jealousy. Now, that is quite the trio of cards. It is quite the sentence. The desperate jealousy doesn't really talk about jealousy. What it talks about is someone who is really emotionally upset or disturbed. To the point where perhaps they may even think about harming themselves, or they are drinking. So I've seen this card show up when it talks about being in debt, huge financial losses that may drive someone to suicide. It definitely says that whatever the news or the message is, it is not good. Okay. Hold on. There's something else he's trying to tell me here. The 8 of Spades. Well, now, This is quite the interesting spread. The card can even sometimes indicate the advanced stage, speaking about a toxic environment and toxic people. It can say that the person may feel that they are surrounded by nice people and that nothing in the environment is toxic, but this turns out to be false, revealing that those quote-unquote nice people have been deeply envious and scheming behind your back to cause you ruin. It speaks about treachery, slander, gossip, and envy. It is another card that warns of danger, or a danger coming from your circle of acquaintances. Now, in love, only in love, and I don't really know if this is a romantic relationship. It could very well be. The energy does not feel like that. It could be a combination of both things. It talks about extreme jealousy, envy, and possessiveness. Financially, it indicates heavy losses that could lead someone to suicide, but heavy debt, insolvency, and overspending, as well as trouble with the law. But the card also warns that you may be about to trust someone who can lead you to your ruin. We get that again. So, not good news. This is my future column, my future row. You know, I don't know if... Remember, I think I said that the Hierophant was saying something else to me. That's not normally how he comes across, as it could be a legal issue, but this could be something where someone is passing down a final judgment. That could be it. It doesn't feel that's not normally the card that comes up with legal issues, but it could be someone passing down a final judgment. You know, this is it. That's the end. No, it's not here. I was just trying to double check that. So it's not, that is one of the meanings. That is how that is coming across. It could be some kind of final judgment thing. Again, I've got these 3 cups, the 3 pentacles here with this guy, the 3 people, the 3 people here. So let's take the Sibila to see what the 10 of Swords is all about. Speranza, the hope card. The card says, you know, don't give up, because, you know, things are about to turn around for you. There's light at the end of the tunnel. The Viaggio, a trip or a return. That's really all that talks about. It talks about travel. You know, this card, along with this card, could be an indication of by water, around water, over water, near water. That is also one of the meanings of this. And then we see the travel here with the boats. And then we have the Costanza, the perseverance card. It can be an indication like of a hometown due to the construction there. But the 3 cards together kind of indicate... what am I trying to say? Let me go here. Because there's something, let me read over it right quick, because there's something else that these 3 cards are trying to say to me. In its neutral meaning, it intensifies the other cards for better or for worse. So in other words, it indicates a long time frame of resolution. It indicates a long period of waiting or delay. Okay? And maybe that's what the 10 of Swords is all about here. The Viaggio. That the movement of this thing has not been something that has been swift. But typically, the card represents change and transformation. And, you know, whatever is going to be changing, positive or negative, is indicated by the cards that face towards the traveler's gaze, which is the hope card. Which is another 8. This is an 8 of hearts. 1 second. It is the card of persistence. In business, it represents an investment or the intention of buying or having just bought stocks or shares or business transaction that you are hoping will succeed. Remember, I talked to you about the emotional quotient, something that you are emotionally attached to? That's really what the card says. It says suffering is about to end, so hang in there. Again, it doesn't tell me whether or not this will be positive or negative. It does not. I don't need the fin de siècle. So what I'm going to do is to pull a Golden Nostradamus card to see if perhaps he can impart some additional information here. Okay. The card does not indicate what the nature of this is, nor does it indicate the outcome, nor does it indicate whether the outcome will be positive or negative, and who or whom will be affected. Okay. So formulate your question for the Golden Nostradamus. That's why I always talk to you guys when I do these readings like this, that it is an open reading. You know, it would require a personal reading to know what the exact outcome is for you. It definitely hints that something is not right. Number 3. Now, I find what's interesting is this idea of this 4-pointed, 6-pointed star here. I think, in a sense, it is along with the star in the pinnacle here, the crown in the background, and this idea, this evidence of nodes. The nodes are going to be changing signs pretty soon, but it again, that idea of something being cyclical. Okay, I don't know if that makes any sense, but if I'm not mistaken, this card is called the Thorns. Yes, the only certainty in our earthly lives is that they go on as a war. This card may be the harbinger of bad news, or mourning, or a simple difficulty that will cause pain. Well, we see that there. The wound will prick you like a thorn in the serenity, in your serenity, or even your body. So that's kind of a cryptic message, particularly since it doesn't give us an outcome. It doesn't give us an indication of what the situation is all about. So, you know, if around this new moon something occurs, I would ask that you, or counsel that you perhaps wait. But I think for someone or some of you, a decision has already been made. Okay. And this card can sometimes be an indication of right relationships, fairness, balance, and harmony. Okay. Because of that Venus aspect. And so that is the message of the Capricorn new moon. I do hope this helps. And until next time, be well, stay safe, and namaste. Oh, yeah. And by the way, I don't know why I went so dark. I am working on the February readings. Hopefully those are going to be posted here by, let me see, by, I don't know what today, the 15th. Hopefully those should be posted by next week. So by the 26th, perhaps, or the 27th, don't necessarily quote me on that. We'll just see how it goes. But they'll definitely be up before February. So don't forget to subscribe, like the video, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Mastodon, follow me on LinkedIn, subscribe to my Substack. And so that's what I have for you. Bye, guys.